Good morning, and welcome to the Fairy Tale Unit. This is East of the Sun, West of the Moon. The YouTube video you'll be looking at is number 16, which is a song sung by Diana Krall. Also, if you have access to a little film called The Polar Bear King, check that out. It's an adaptation of Valamon Bear King, which is one of the East of the Sun, West of the Moon stories. The thing you're thinking about as we're going on with this is, what are the things each fairy tale could be trying to tell you about the society it's written for? How does it react to the supernatural? How does it treat men and women? How is it different depending on where it's written, or the same? And how are the movie clips, poems, and articles related to this story? The thing about East of the Sun, West of the Moon to think about is the fact that it is actually written in Scandinavia. It's for a Scandinavian audience. And like the Scottish fairy tales, the Scandinavian fairy tales tend to be a little bit more girl-powery. So just as a thing to consider. East of the Sun, West of the Moon. Here we go. Once upon a time, there was a farmer and his many, many children. And they were living, they were okay. They were doing fine. It wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst. Then one day, there was the blizzard. And in the blizzard, there was this bear. And they're like, that's weird. But they ignored it and they went on with their lives. But then two of the children got very, very sick. Now so two of the younger children and one of the older children got very, very sick. And there's another little blizzard, and this bear shows up again and knocks on the door, and the guy's like, what are you knocking on my door for, bear? And the bear's like, I got a deal for you. Let me marry one of your daughters, and I will make sure the other three children are fine and that you never have no money. And the farmer's like, you want me to sell one of my children to a bear for the prosperity of the other children? And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, he thinks about it for a minute. He's like, I can't do that. And then the 16-year-old daughter's like, no, I got this. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, I'm going to call her Rose because then I want to just call her the girl. Even though in most stories she's just called Lassie, but like, eh. So Rose is like, no, I will go. And her dad's like, no, you can't. She's like, yes, but I will. And he's finally, because she's Norwegian, she's from Scandinavia, and she's pretty stubborn, she wears him down in the end, and she goes off with the bear. And he brings her to a castle in this mountain forest, and he's like, this is our house. And she's like, okay, sounds great. And they're there, and she has a pretty good time, kind of like Belle in Beauty and the Beast. She learns to weave, and she explores the castle, and it's pretty great. She likes it. But every night when she goes to sleep, and the bear is really friendly, but every night when she goes to sleep, there's a body on the bed next to her. Never touches her, never does anything, but she can hear it, but it's a person. And she's like, this is weird. There's a monster living in this cave, in this castle with me. So she's a little disturbed, but this happens for almost a year. And she's really kind of homesick. She's like, I just want to go home and see my family again. And the bear's like, okay, well, I don't want you to be unhappy. It's like, but here's the deal. Your mom is going to give you something. Don't take it. She's like, what? Okay. And he's like, no, you got to promise me. Do not take it. She's like, okay, I won't take it. So she gets home. She has a great visit with her siblings and her family, and they're all doing well. Then her mom gives her this, says to her, hey, how are things going? How are you doing in this castle? And she kind of weasels out of her daughter the fact that she's got this mysterious person who sleeps in the bed next to her. She's like, you don't know what he looks like? He could be like a face-sucking Dementor demon thing. And the daughter's like, I hadn't thought of that. What do you recommend that I do, Mom? So the mom's like, it's okay, I got you. I have this tinder light, this flame here, like a lighter, okay, and a candle. And you should be able to, like, you'll be able to light the candle, and then you can look and see who's sleeping next to you. And the daughter's like, and Rose is like, well, I promised that I wouldn't take any gift that I got from my mom, but this is a really good idea, because now she's thinking about it, and she's really curious. So she takes the stuff, takes the candle, and the lighter, puts it on her pack, and the bear comes back, and he's like, gift from your mom? And she's like, no gift from my mom. A liar. So they get home, things are going along pretty well, and then it's nighttime, and so she's there, she's sleeping, kind of sleeping. She hears the person lie down. She hears them fall asleep. So she reaches over, takes her lighter, takes her candle, turns it, and sees the most handsome prince she's ever seen in her life. And she's like, he's so pretty. And so as she's looking at him, like a creeper, because he's sleeping, she accidentally drops some wax on him from the candle, and it burns him and then also leaves a big stain on his shirt. And he's like, "What have you done?" She's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, first of all, I'm the bear. Took you that long to figure it out? Really? Come on." She's like, "Second of all, I was under a curse that I didn't have to marry the troll queen as long as I could find someone who could live with me as a bear with my human form at night for about a year. And we were like 2 weeks away. You couldn't have waited 2 weeks and the enchantment would have been broken. We would have been fine. But now I have to go and marry the troll queen." And she's like, "Oh no, how do I fix this?" And he's like, "Well, I'm going to a castle east of the sun and west of the moon, and there's no way to fix that unless you can find me." She's like, "I will find you." And he's like, "I hope so, because I don't want to marry the troll queen." And then the troll queen swoops in on her reindeer sleigh and drags him off. And the princess and Rose wakes up, not in a castle because the castle's vanished. She's like, "Well, great." So she sets off on this quest, and she meets a cast of colorful characters who really are not mentioned in the book, which is weird. In some stories, it's like a dragon, and they give her all this stuff, but it all depends. In the end, however, she ends up with a pair of magical scissors and a tablecloth. And the magical scissors will cut into clothing, and the tablecloth, if you throw it down, food will pop up. And then there's a pair of magic boots that let you walk up cliffs. So she's got her stuff, and she gets to the castle and takes on work as a servant. And the troll queen's getting ready for her wedding, and she's all excited. And she basically, well, there's also a couple other possibilities. There's like a golden comb, and sometimes it's gold stuff, sometimes it's dresses that she made. Either way, the troll princess trades stuff to the girl in exchange for being able to go and see the prince. Okay? But each time she goes to see him, she's drugged him. So finally, the prince is like, "Wait, I see what's going on here," because he figures out that that Rose is coming to see him. So he's like, "Okay, I got this." He's still got his shirt with the wax on it. So at his wedding, he says, "All right, I will marry the person who can wash this candle wax out of my shirt." And the troll queen's like, "Okay." So she tries, but it just makes it harder and gross and lumpy, and it's not working. And she's like, "What is happening?" And then the little lass, Rose, gets up, and she's like, "I can do it." And she washes it off and knows exactly the trick to get candle wax out of a shirt. And it works. And he's like, "I'll marry Rose." And the troll queen's like, "Ugh." But then, because she's allergic to sunlight, they've kept this going on so long that now it's daytime, and all the trolls burst into bubbles and die. So Rose and the bear, who is now a prince, get back home, sometimes on dog sled, sometimes on reindeer sled, sometimes on boat, sometimes on magic, and sometimes they just stay right where they're at. This is a weird fairy tale, I'm just saying. And they live happily ever after. This particular fairy tale is weird. It's one of the few times where the princess actually saves the prince, and it's also one where every version of the story is slightly different, which is weird. Sometimes when I tell the story, I like that she has different dresses, like donkey skin. Sometimes I like the idea that she's got a golden ball, like the Princess and the Frog, and a golden comb. And sometimes I like the one where she gets paid by the witch to make the wedding feast and poisons everybody. It all kind of depends. There's an east of the sun, west of the moon for every mood. All right. So, enjoy. Have a wonderful day. Cav out.